I'm Ava. And Mickey's having a field day with the headphones.
Hi.
We are Crime Time, and today we're going to be talking about the death penalty, which, according to the Death Penalty Information Center, since 1973, at least 190 people who have been wrongly convicted and sentenced to death in the U.S. have been exonerated. And of those 190 cases, 12 of those have been from North Carolina, where we are. One notable one that we found was the case of Jonathan Hoffman. In 1996, 41-year-old Jonathan Hoffman was arrested for the murder of a jewelry store owner named Danny Cook, and however, there was no physical evidence to link him to the crime at all. There were 3 witnesses who testified against him, one of which was his cousin, John O. Porter, who claimed that Hoffman confessed to the entire murder. And because of that critical witness with that testimony, on November 13th, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death by an all-white jury. He was black, and most of the people involved were white, and it was an all-white jury.
Well, that's racist.
And so Hoffman's lawyers at the time of his conviction, they were talking about how it was an unfair trial, how the jurors were being racist. There was prosecutorial misconduct, and they convicted him on race-based discrimination. And they continued to fight that from 96 into 2004, when they had a hearing which they presented new evidence that was not at all, they were not aware of at the time, but Hoffman's cousin Porter was given immunity for his own crimes and also given like thousands of dollars in order to testify against his cousin. And none of that was made at all aware to Hoffman's lawyers. Like, the prosecutors kept it like a huge secret from everyone.
Aren't they not allowed supposed to do that?
Yeah, it's very incredibly, like, you can't, and I think you can grant people immunity, but if you keep it like a down low secret from the defense, like that's the part that's not allowed. So because of this information, in April, the defense ordered for a retrial. So that was in like 2005 or 2004, I think, that they ordered for a retrial. But before it could happen, in 2006, Porter officially recanted his testimony and admitted to the fact that, you know, he perjured himself. None of what he said was true. So 20 months after that, on December 11, 2007, Hoffman was released after being on death row for 12 years.
That's crazy.
For a crime that he did not commit. And the original prosecutors, Kenneth Honeycutt and Scott Brewer, which Kenneth Honeycutt is a terrible name to have if you're gonna do scumbaggy things. They were charged and investigated by the state bar for lying, cheating, withholding evidence. Although I believe the charges were dropped, which is insane, because like the fact that you could do something so terrible and illegal and then just get away with it is horrifying. But this guy was in prison for 12 years and he was gonna die. And that's like just one thing crazy. Like, you can be like put to death, but it won't even happen. Like, the entire time he was in prison, he just had that knowledge that he was probably going to die or something that he...
Why'd they wait 12 years?
I think that's the thing with most death penalty things. It just takes, like, it's not a thing that happens immediately. It's something that takes years and years. A lot of people are just in there for forever, and it's just so, like, can you imagine, like, waiting 12 years just to die? Like, knowing that there's no hope, like, although there was in this case, he got out, but, and all because your cousin lied about it.
That's life. You could get hit by a car one day and you die. I don't know.
And yeah, it's just, it's a whole other thing when his death was in the hands of all these people, this entire jury and the prosecutors and the defense, and he had to sit in prison, because prison is it's not exactly a fun place to wait for 12 years if you're gonna, like, you know, die. What would your reaction, like, I can't even imagine if my cousin was on the stand saying that I confessed to a murder that I didn't commit.
I'd kill him. I love my cousin. If they ever did that to me, I'd kill them.
I just didn't, no, I think, honestly, and because the reason that he did it was because he was facing his own federal crime, so they were like, okay.
What was his crime?
I don't entirely know, I have actually no idea. But it's just insane that it's that easy. Like, it's crazy to think that you can commit a crime and if you're like, hey, but I'll tell you something about this other guy who didn't commit a crime. Like, it's not even like the other guy, like, Hoffman was guilty. He flat out lied about it. And then the people who gave him money, which is that's to bribe someone into lying and perjuring and stuff, that's incredibly illegal. And then to just get away with that because you're a lawyer. I think there's like only like 10 lawyers in North Carolina, I think, that have ever been like reprimanded for doing something like illegal, like paying off a juror member and stuff like that. But it's just, it's entirely wild. And yeah, I think the death penalty, it's just, you really think, I feel like we all have this kind of thing that we see in movies where it's like an immediate thing, like, oh, once you get the death penalty, like, it's automatic. And I feel like that's not really the case. Also with a lot of death penalty stuff, I feel like we think it's like only like serial killers, like the worst of the worst. But there's one, like this, he just allegedly murdered this one person, and he was going to be put to death. And it's just insane how crazy and like how
Wouldn't that just be
willy-nilly-
life in prison?
Yeah, it's something that should be life in prison if he had done it, but they were like, no. I feel like it's insane how willy-nilly they throw out the death penalty for people who just like allegedly murdered. Like, it's really, really insane.
Janae, is that?
What are your thoughts on just like the entire, like the death penalty in general, I suppose?
Like some people deserve it.
I can understand if it's like a serial killer, then they are still a danger to people. Like even if they are in prison, I can wrap my head around that. I've seen a lot of Law and Order episodes where it's just like this guy killed one person and then they're like, okay, put him to death. And I just think I understand like the family probably wanting them to die, but like if you're like a member of the like government, you should be able to have a more objective, level head about, hey, maybe we shouldn't kill this guy. Like maybe just put him in jail. And yeah, but I guess that's our episode on the death penalty and capital punishment. Tune in next week for another one about the death penalty. I'm Ava.
Binky. Janita.
Yeah, and we are Crime Time.
Bye.
Bye.